This is Tony Chimmel, and I'd like to introduce the hosts of the Game Marks podcast, George Feis and Johnny Clash.
Welcome to the Game Marks podcast, where each and every week we take a deep dive into the good, the bad, and the awesome of wrestling video games. I'm the man they call Johnny Clash.
And my name is George Feis, and today we are playing Def Jam Fight for New York, the Takeover for the PSP. Now, as always, we would like to know how this game holds up. Will it get a play it forever? Woo! Or a future endeavor?
You're fired!
We also discuss what snack foods deserve a video game. And a whole lot more.
Okay, interesting. I got a few ideas. But please remember to subscribe and leave a 5-star review for this podcast on Apple and Spotify. Follow us on all forms of social media at GameMarksPod. That is Is Thread still a thing? Do we say x.com/GameMarksPod? I don't know yet. But you could also get this episode.
Do it on the X.
Yeah, you could also. It just feels wrong. You
Yeah,
can also
no, it
get
does.
this early and ad-free on Patreon, patreon.com/GameMarksPod. Along with Discord access, soft lock question of the week. Like we said, early ad-free episodes. We interact in there. We invite sometimes we invite guests to the live recordings right here in Riverside.fm. So
That is true.
You never know.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, we are due for a live recording. Maybe even a live Twitch recording.
maybe we'll send the link out for the Sting episode in a little bit.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
But John, before we get into that, I got to do something really quick here.
You gotta do the noise.
No, we're good. We are we're having a brew.
What you got?
I got a treehouse. I got a treehouse called Juice Project.
I've never had a treehouse.
They're good. They're very hard to get in our neck of the woods,
Yeah.
but I have a friend who is very much into like the craft beer world, and anytime he sees treehouse, he makes sure to let me know so that I can also go and spend an exorbitant amount of money on beers from out of state. But yeah, he's way more into that than I am. But today I have a single treat. Juice Project. So.
I got see this? Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem electrolyte water. In
It's just electrolyte water.
Yeah, but it's like a nice, like reusable aluminum.
Hey.
Okay, like I'm probably gonna refill this
No, okay.
by Path.
I know that this isn't the podcast that talks about this kind of stuff, but have you ever...
Look at the tracking on refillable. Graphic designer problem right here.
That's what that said. Oh, no.
Yeah. Anyway, I always point this stuff out. Menus, everything.
No, it's terrible. I always point out papyrus. But that's me. So here's my question. I know this isn't the podcast that talks about these kinds of things, and I don't know how often you go to the beer distributor to pick up beers.
Never.
But I feel like, and this is not something that I do often, as I said before, it's usually my friend that lets me know. I had no idea that when beer distributors go and get beers from out of state, that those beers can be very expensive.
I didn't know they did that. So yeah.
So my friend was telling me that he was talking to the guy at at his local beer distributor, and he said that when he goes to Treehouse, like he drives to Treehouse to pick them up because I don't think Treehouse ships, that in certain scenarios for like super rare beers, they could charge like $9 per can.
I didn't even know they did that, honestly. I guess if it's like in demand, they would, right?
I understand. I would say for the demand, I don't think I've ever paid that much for a can of beer. I don't think I could bring myself to spend that much on, like, unless it was like a super crazy limited release. Like, I get it. You really wanted to try it, but I mean, if you are into that, more power to you, but also let us know. Like, I'm very curious. And yeah, I digress. I know that there's not the podcast that we talk about
Hey,
that, but
everyone enjoys a nice beverage.
I was just so perplexed when he dropped that knowledge bomb on me.
No, I don't really do that much. But good to know. Good to know.
But let's talk about last week's episode. A little different, little what if episode where we broke down some interesting scenarios of what could have happened in the world of wrestling and video games. Had a little butterfly effect episode almost. I
agree with that. A little butterfly effect.
One small thing changes. The course of the video game industry and in the world of wrestling changes astronomically. Maybe we get different titles. Maybe we get the same titles, but on different engines. There's a lot of things that could have happened. I had a lot of fun. The reception behind the episode and response overall seems pretty good. If you're listening to this episode and you haven't checked that one out, make sure to go and check that out. And I do think that it may be one of my favorite artwork for the episode that we've done. And it made me feel really good when I showed it to you and you went, well, damn, that's the exact idea that I had.
Literally. And you did it probably better than I would have done it. But
I'm so glad. One, that you enjoyed it, and two, that we were on the same page with what we wanted to do.
But yeah, now this is when we start writing down questions for the next what if episode. So just throw them at us. Even if we don't respond, don't think we overlook it. We're always just writing stuff on the list. If you mention a game, some people even message us, have you played this? Have you played this? Or tweet us, have you played this?
I love those because there's sometimes where you think that you've played, we've been doing this podcast for, oh shit, when this podcast dropped, as of recording.
Look at that.
As of recording, it's Thursday, peek behind the curtain. Tomorrow is our anniversary, I believe. Right? Is it today?
I don't know. We're going to get sappy George later, I think.
No, we'll be okay.
Okay.
No tears will be shed.
But I was saying, throw them at us because I'm always writing them on the list. So they are there. If it's something we don't have on our list for whatever reason, it will be played at some point.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of games and releasing, no one's speaking of that, but I am now. Megacat delayed WrestleQuest. It was supposed to come out August 8th. It is now coming out this week, August 22nd. I actually had a congratulations, the game's release graphic scheduled on the 8th.
Yes.
And I think it was like 9 p.m. that night that they wrote like, hey, it's not coming out tomorrow. And I didn't see that. So in the morning, like I set it to schedule like at 7 a.m. like before I woke up and everything. And I woke up and someone's just like, the game's not releasing. And I was like, oh yeah, it is. And I look at their tweets and I was like, oh shit, it's not releasing. So look out for that graphic. It's recycled now. So I thought I was, I don't know. Thought I was doing something good, but
intentions were well.
I'm excited to play WrestleQuest. I know a lot of people are.
Same here. I think I am most excited for you to play that, mainly because I know that it's not an area of video games that you dive into often. So
not an RPG guy, but
I'm very curious to see your thoughts.
The reviews were in. They were positive, but there was some, people are going to be not harsh, truthful. And certain things in my mind, even on the positives, are just not for me personally. Like I'm not an RPG guy, so I don't know. Some things might not work, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to play it in 1 year from August 22nd on our 5th year anniversary. We will probably be playing it on this podcast, so we'll.
I like that we're already booking episodes a year out. This is the
not?
podcast we've become.
Why not? But yeah, what else have you been playing? What have you been doing?
So I have, in preparation for Counter-Strike 2, I've been diving back into Counter-Strike Global Offensive, CSGO. Why? What?
Why? Because I sit down, I'm like, what could I watch today? What's Tim playing? Tim the Tap Man. And it's like opening crates on CSGO.
Opening cases. Like, man.
Guess I'm skipping this one.
I was watching today. He opened up $10,000 worth of cases.
I don't know what that even means. Like I skipped today because
he spent $10,000.
Oh,
and opened up $10,000 worth of cases because older cases are worth more money. So he opened $10,000, and you have to buy keys to open the case. It's a lot. It's a lot of money that he spent, but I watched
his Madden streams the past few days, and they were pretty brutal because he hasn't played since like he was 15 years old.
I did reinstall Fortnite.
I am hard back into it. Like, I've played on PC. I'm so bad on keyboard and mouse, but I've been doing it. But yeah, and it's even worse on Xbox because it's on a TV. Like, I don't even see who's shooting at me. But I did get 2 kills, so I was happy.
Hey, maybe we find a little bonus video content
if our computers work together, unlike last time.
Yeah, no, we remember when we got attacked by Darth Vader. That was fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was gonna say I'm back hard into it. Hey, and now you can play as Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair.
Yes, you
which
can.
Is another plus, which means we can justify it on this podcast.
There we go. See, that's like another episode that I want to do, but I feel like
crossovers
to find just like wrestler skins in other games, because it happened in Fortnite. John Cena was in it. I think The Rock was in it. Obviously now Becky and Bianca Belair in it. In Rainbow Six Siege, you've got I think now you have Becky Lynch, Roman Reigns, The Undertaker, and someone else. I can't remember who the other person is, but you have 4 wrestlers in Rainbow Six Siege. And yeah, I know in Brawlhalla there was a skin pack. It's been talked about a lot in our Discord. I think we've even talked about it on the podcast before. There's so many crossovers in video games with wrestlers. It's crazy to think that that's a thing, that like all of these major game companies are just like, no, we want to.
Hey, why not?
We want to license this from you, WWE, and like come and be in our game.
I like it though. I mean, it's the same as like Fortnite did the NFL pack and all that.
Yeah,
crossovers are one of the best things in all of media.
You get no complaints from me here. I will most likely be going and buying some of these skins in some of these games.
Just as good as when the cast of Everybody Loves Raymond went and hung out at Doug Heffernan's house and he got stuck in the attic. That's my crossover story.
Wow. Okay. Well, with that, John, are you ready to dive in and put on those nostalgia goggles? Because I cannot wait. We're diving back into a series that we know and love, but this time on a handheld. Are you ready to take the deep dive?
Let's jump on in. Out the window.
All right. Well, this Windows match is for Def Jam Fight for New York, the Takeover. This is for the PSP. It was released August 29th, 2006. Published by EA, developed by AKI and EA Canada, and other wrestling games that are out in 2006. You've got WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, Wrestle Kingdom, and a favorite of the podcast for some unknown reason, Rumble Roses.
He said unknown reason. He said
Isn't that the one that crashed every time we tried to play it?
Yeah, that one was bad. That one did not run well.
Like that. Oh man, that was a nightmare playing that game.
Yeah, but hey, handheld. Everybody loves this series. You don't really hear a bad thing about it because it is kind of the successor to that No Mercy series that everybody wanted. But we got who would have thought we got a game full of rappers that was the spiritual successor to WWF No Mercy, and it's such a good game. Now, when Def Jam games come up, at least for me, it's kind of in the same realm of what's it called, Kaneko Man, where I'm just like,
Ultimate Muscle, yeah.
I'm just like, oh, yeah, that just feels good. That's like just like a good feel good series. It's so easy to pick up and play. It's so easy to just like dive back in, and the nostalgia rush you get in your head, especially me. Like I played the console Def Jam Fight for New York so much. Like it was my game for so long. Like, you know, you always have that game. Like right now I could say it's NHL that you just go back to. It was that game for me. I loved it. The story was just, I played through it so many times. Just playing matches was great. But now they shrink it down and you have it on a handheld PSP, which if we're going to talk about the PSP, which I'm sure we will, one of the greatest handheld consoles ever.
I got to tell you, I feel like, and this is me knowing full well that the PSP is one of, like you said, the more well-received of the handhelds. I still don't think it gets as much love as it should. It had so many features, so many awesome titles on it. No notes.
They were hit or miss, if you think about it. Like we explained during our playthrough, like GTA was so good. Because why wouldn't you want your favorite game or favorite game series on a handheld? Like you're not getting GTA on a DS. You're just not. You're getting Nacho Libre with the stupid double screen and terrible graphics. But you have a functioning GTA in your hands. Like you could bring it in. I used to bring it to college. I used to bring it to work with me.
And you could link it to your PS3 or PS4 and play remotely.
Plus, it had the internet on it, which only like the T-Mobile Sidekick had at the time, and maybe like some smartphones. I know mine definitely did not at the time. Everybody knows the story. If you haven't, if you listen back to a PSP, or I've shared this on multiple episodes, but I had the PSP, and I had this Hulk Hogan backpack from the 80s in college, and that was my backpack. This stupid little Hulk Hogan backpack. No cushion, nothing. I see my friend across the hall. I said, "Hey," I throw my backpack to him. He misses the backpack, and I just hear, and the PSP's in there, and I went, "My PSP!" And the screen was shattered. I was shattered. I was devastated. My dad found the screen from like China on eBay. He fixed it. It was held together by like a piece of Scotch tape. I think if you left it on too long, especially like GTA, without touching it, the screen would like dim and not come back up.
Oh no! Breaking news, John.
Uh-oh.
The Modern Warfare 3 reveal event is now live.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Here's my $70. But yeah, I traded that PSP in for a DS. Complete trade. Like no money put in, no money taken, and I miss it. I do miss it.
PSP is a great system. There was a lot of free to play titles that were not bad. I mainly used it for the console link. I thought that was such a great feature.
That was cool. But what I was going to say, hit or miss, like GTA was so good. This was so good. Certain other games like were spot on from the console release, but then you had like SmackDown vs. Raw, which was cool, but it just didn't. I think when you think of sports games and wrestling games, there's so much happening on the screen. The crowd, the arena, the ring. Like it's not just a room like in Def Jam that you're fighting in.
A lot more moving parts.
A lot more moving parts, and it might not look the best when it's all rendered down.
I like the PSP. I think we both gave it a fair share in terms of the amount that we utilized it, and I feel like the way both of us are talking about it, we definitely played to its strengths. And I feel like there's a lot of people who may have went back after the fact and were like, I don't get it. What's the hype about? Because maybe they weren't playing it or using the console to its full potential. But listen, this series, the Def Jam series as a whole, it is something that I think across the board, have been looking forward to playing every game. Today is no different. It is a game that we have liked, everyone.
Let's see. Play it forever on Def Jam Vendetta. Play it forever on Fight for New York. So we've played them all forever thus far.
And, you know, the history, the legacy that comes behind this series, obviously, it's got a great foundation to be a wrestling / fighting game. And now you've got that in a handheld. And go and watch our playthrough on the YouTube channel. It is graphically okay. I'll say this. I'm going to get this out of the way now. Graphically, it does this weird like 50-50 split.
Mm-hmm.
Where like John actually I think talks about it in the YouTube video, where it's like some textures are rendered beautifully, and then other textures like skin texture, the tattoo, the fabric and details on everyone's clothing looks like it is straight from a PlayStation 1. Like the trade-off is very weird between what assets are rendered in higher quality versus lower quality. And I think obviously that goes into like the development and the resource management and capabilities of the console and all that. But it was just very weird to see. I think the example that John uses is that Danny Trejo's chain is rendered beautifully.
It looks like a nice hunk of metal.
But all of his tattoos look like they were drawn on with Sharpie and then left out in the rain, and they like melted on his body.
Like even the environment, it's like a little pixely. Like some of even the text that pops up on the screen is very pixely. But then
you know what? I'm willing to forgive that as long as the models were good. Like environment, sure, it's the background. It's not the main focus of like when you're playing the fighting, like, you know, in the match, you're in the match.
Yeah, I guess. But is it that hard to render out the letters KO and have them high quality?
Yeah, that's just...
that stuff might just bother me because like I look for that. Like look how the episode started with the stupid Ninja Turtle cam. Like I'm looking at graphic stuff with like under a microscope at all times. So maybe normal people aren't looking at it like that. But that's how I look at it. I don't know. I feel like if you're a popular game on a main console,
yeah,
you should, I don't know, have better quality.
Or just offer, maybe it was a features thing. Maybe it's, I don't know, there's a lot of...
If you could fit entire GameCube games on the GameCube mini discs, the UMD was not that much smaller.
All right.
Which a really cool cheat code in GTA was you could actually have a PSP as a weapon and shoot UMDs at people. I don't know if you ever did that, but I definitely did.
I did not. That's good to know. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the game itself. So it's in the title. It's Def Jam Fight for New York, but this time it is the Takeover. So a lot of the same scenarios, a lot of the same characters that you're used to from the main console release of Fight for New York are here. The Takeover version of it, which is the PSP version, obviously, has new dirty moves, 4 new arenas or venues, and a total of 68 playable characters. And
it's a good amount for a PSP game.
Yeah, and not to mention there's also creative slots.
Yes, sir. Really, it's the same game.
Yeah.
And that's what
at its core it is.
Yeah, it's the same game. I like that they added stuff rather than took it away. Like, yeah, there's some stuff they obviously had to take away, but mostly like that's what a handheld would do. It would take away some stuff to make room for other stuff and make the game function. Maybe we're just used to like the Game Boy games over the years that were just god awful and not even close to the look at Legends of Wrestling that we played only a few weeks ago. How far off that was.
There's also that whole aspect of like, do you remove stuff to make it? So there's 2 ways of doing it. Do you remove stuff for the sake of we're removing things so that the game is different enough, or are we removing things so that the game runs based off of the available hardware?
Yeah, it seems like this one.
It's a mix of both.
I mean, we're talking about the graphics. Maybe that's where the sacrifice was here, but everything else was pretty spot on and pretty flawless and a lot of fun to play.
Yeah. Graphically, you're playing this on a screen that's no bigger than the screen on your cell phone.
No, not really. Yeah.
If you think about it.
Thinking about the screen, I feel like it was so big, but if I went and looked at it, it probably wouldn't be.
So I just pulled up a picture of the PSP, and
it's got to be what, like 3 inches?
PSP screen size.
Oh wow! It was actually 4.3.
Yeah, it's 4.3.
DS was 3. Huh.
Yeah, I mean the whole console is almost 7 inches wide.
It's very close to that Backbone I bought, actually. It looks very similar. Like, same size, which probably why it feels so good to play.
Didn't even think about that. That's a very good point.
Like, what about the Steam Deck?
Steam Deck, I think, is bigger, more like a Switch.
Looks bigger, right? 7 inches.
Yeah.
And while we're at it, Switch screen size 6.2. All right, those are all pretty fair. I like it.
Can't knock them for Sony for the PSP because
crushed
they were clearly, I'm not going to say ahead of the game because there's a lot of things that all the other companies improved on, but they definitely had the foresight to produce a console like this that, linked to a main console that had, the same, if not similar titles or tie-in titles to main series, which, it's not, reinventing the wheel. Nintendo had been doing that with the Game Boy for a long time, but to be able to link to your main console, now you look at the Switch is a main console and it could be hooked up to your TV or it could be the main thing. Could you imagine if the PSP was just like, oh, also there's a dock that you can put this in? And now you can.
Yeah. I think, what was it? PS5 is coming out with that, right?
I do
Like
think
a handheld.
I heard something.
That was in one of their latest announcements. Project, whatever it's called. I don't remember. But it's like a Switch type thing. But I think you could only play it. This is where Xbox is ahead of the game. You could only play it like connected to the console.
Oh.
So right now with Xbox, what's it called? The app. Like before we got on, I'm sitting here on my computer. I played a game of NHL on my computer from my downstairs Xbox. I could do the same at lunch at work, not even in the same house.
That's so cool.
Yeah, like the PSP didn't have that. But there was like a glitch. My friend used to do it with, I know he used to play NBA and then he had a train ride. So if he turned the console on and then just left his house, his Vita would continue to play the game. But once the game was over, he couldn't like go into other stuff.
That's cheating the system.
Yeah. Like he could finish the game. So he would have like one full game to play, but that was it.
That's almost, that's worth it, kind of, right? Like, that's a cool little trick.
Yeah. But let's talk about the differences here from the console to the PSP of this game. So to start off, they added fight styles to the PSP version. So your created wrestler, or whatever you want to call them, icon, I don't know. That's next game.
That's your next game.
Def Jam fighter.
Your fighter.
Yeah. They added 5 different fight styles to that. Yeah, the fight styles not in the... I'm going to start all of this over. Okay. So they added fight styles for your character, for your fighter in the game. So there's 5 different. Before fights, you can now actually hit your opponent. This is something Fight Forever actually has. You could hit your opponent before the fight starts, giving them a slight
tell you something.
Advantage.
There is nothing that drove me crazier the first month of Fight Forever, or the first week of Fight Forever,
And getting
more
hit
than
for
that.
the bell.
Oh, it drove me nuts.
Yeah, but then
I
you
was
put
like,
it
what
on.
am I doing wrong?
But then
Why
you
am I
put it
getting
on your guy, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a skill. I played through the entire first half of the Road to the Elite, and I didn't know that I could make my guy do that. I was like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I just keep getting the crap kicked at me the first 30 seconds of the match?
I agree. It was pretty annoying. A new mount maneuver was added, which George got hit with quite often in the playthrough, allowing the player to kind of mount and just kind of ground and pound, throw punches, and there's a little meter you have to tap to get them like off of you.
Yeah.
New finishing moves, which they call blazing moves, that can knock out opponent, and if it reaches the danger level, that's it. That's final blow. You're done. But what we came across in our playthrough, if you do that, say in a Windows match, your blazing move will knock them out of the window. Like the animation's a kick out the window. So everything's environmentally friendly. Same with the subway match. It's super cool. Like you have your blazing move, but then it's almost like a OMG moment where you're kicking them out the window instead of doing your finisher.
I don't know if they have, I'm sure that they have like an official name like internally, but there's no like in-game prompt that comes up that's just like, this is aside from it being like your special, there's no like, do this move and you'll end the match. It's just like, here's your special, hit your special.
But there is like the glass like shatters as you hit it. Like the crack expands like a Hell in a Cell top.
I was going to say it gives you Kurt Angle, Shane McMahon.
Oh yeah, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. It'll work. New venues are added, such as the bunker, terminal, offload, the dead end, and the barge. Now, the barge also has a new environment where you could throw them overboard, which is cool. Jervis and Starks now have blazing yells. I guess they didn't before. And circuit announcers DJ Enough and DJ Felly Fell are not heard during the matches, so there's no commentary. Matches such as Free For All, Team Match, and Inferno Match are absent due to the UMD capacity size. New blazing themes were added to the load screens. No, I'm sorry. They were actually removed from the load screens. Some fighting arenas are only set to their second stage. For instance, Seventh Heaven is set to the club DTP setting.
Heaven.
Oh, don't do that. And Hunts Point Scrapyard is set to After Hours, despite their names. I don't know what that one means, but yeah.
I want you to know something.
You love Seventh Heaven?
No,
Were you a Lucy or a Mary guy?
I'm pretty sure you did that to me the last time we said Seventh Heaven.
I don't know how many times we've said Seventh Heaven.
Well, it's right. It's in the.
Oh, true. It would be in.
It would be in the other game. So I was gonna say I don't know if it's in both, but I know that it's in at least one. But I remember being there and just like you said Seventh Heaven, that popped into my head. I'm like, why do I feel like this is a thing that we've done before? Like I got like the deja vu. Like we've been here.
Oh, so awkward. Office Ladies was talking about what's his name? The dad from Seventh Heaven who did like the creepy.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
Well, they were talking about him and how awesome it was to work with him, and they're like, and disclaimer, he did some shit.
Wait, who is he on?
He's Andy's dad. Steve Collins, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Creepy fuck.
Shit, yeah, he is.
He's
Andy's dad.
Yeah. Not in season 1. Like later on. Remember they changed his parents?
Yeah, they changed his parents, and then I always, you know what always blew my mind? That the mayor on The Office is the dad from Heroes.
I didn't watch Heroes.
Or not the mayor, whatever he is, the congressman.
Anyway, welcome to Office Marks. Let's talk about the game modes, because character creation, it's pretty much the same as Fight for New York, which I always thought was cool. Like your character gets a police sketch drawn of them, and that's like how you create them. I don't know. It's just like a cool little environment that you've never really seen.
You know what it is? It's unique. And that's something that in the world of like Create a Wrestler is, you know, there's not a ton of unique things anymore. It's usually like, load in, make your guy. Now every wrestling gamer is like, pick a pose for your guy on the menu screen. Like this was different. It was a different approach to it, which was cool.
Yeah, I thought it was just, like, I don't know, especially as a kid, not a kid, teenager. I was just like, oh, it just fits with everything. And it just fits with the whole game. I liked it a lot. The story mode. Oh, I'm sorry. So the character creation, what they did add here is you can now pick one of the 5 boroughs of New York City to be where your character's from. Where'd you pick? I think I always went like, I don't know. Like, what would you pick now? Like in NHL games, I always try to put myself from my hometown because Sonny Milano is actually from my hometown. So,
oh, okay.
Like,
so I usually just do there. like I don't know. I'm the kind of person where I just usually do like general. So like
Manhattan or
no. So like if just like
what's
New
general?
York. So like in WWE, you can like get really really granular with like the towns and stuff, or you could just be like, I'm from Long Island. So like I always just pick like I'm from Long Island.
Yeah, but in this one you have to pick one of the 5 boroughs. I think I always picked Brooklyn.
I say I probably pick Brooklyn. Now what's your reason for Brooklyn?
I don't know. That's somewhere I know, somewhere I used to go pretty often. So
I always picked Brooklyn because my mom like grew up in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
and
so did my dad.
I was like that's my connection. I did not grow up there, but this is the closest that I can pick to be like I have a connection.
My character wanted good pizza, you know. So,
man, the internet things that I have been targeted on for just like the most insane meals around like Manhattan and the boroughs. I was just like, it's like pizza with like 800 pounds of pepperoni on it.
Oh yeah, so good though. Looks so good.
It looks amazing. But I'm like,
Did I show you the pizza I got last week? A new place opened by me.
No, you showed me the pizza that your father-in-law made you.
Oh yeah. Oh,
which looked
amazing. No,
there's a reason that man owned a pizzeria, and it shows.
There's a new one by me that's like just a nice. We digress, folks. It's everyone loves pizza talk. It's like a garage, and there's picnic tables outside, and inside it's like all old school. They had hot honey pepperoni pizza.
Oh,
and then
I'm a sucker for hot honey.
But the Sicilian one had burrata on it. You can't really do that, can you?
No,
you could dream about it.
No, I totally can. It's just the. Oh man, I'm trying to think which would entice me more.
It was so good, I ordered it and then went back and ordered more.
Okay, so that's the ceiling deal when you go when you're with someone. And it's you can order seconds kind of thing.
Yeah, we both are like, we're getting more. And I've been thinking about it.
That's the seal of approval there.
Anyway, the story mode for Def Jam Fight for New York.
Pizza Pod.
So rather than a full, I guess, motion captured story like in Fight for New York, this one's more a little dumbed down. It's more like you're reading text messages off of a T-Mobile Sidekick. Second time we've mentioned that today, weirdly enough. You're still kind of a nameless,
underrated phone,
up and coming street fighter that, you're getting your police sketch taken of you. The police know who you are. You're into street fighting, and you have to rescue one of, the females from the game. And instead of D-Mob being freed from police custody like in Vendetta, it's a tattoo artist, Manny, who is saved from corrupt police officers. Now he takes the player to gang leader OG, who becomes his mentor, who instructs him on how to fight and gain control of the 5 boroughs of New York City. So basically you go through each borough and you fight through each borough. That's how you fight for New York. And this is how you take over.
Get it? We call that a callback, folks.
Yeah. It's a little different than the console release. We say it in the playthrough. That's more based around Crow, who is Snoop Dogg, and he's just vicious in that game. You have the epic Inferno match, the window match. This is more about like D-Mob and all that, and it's a cool story. I highly suggest, if you haven't played it, at least do a little watch through of it, skim it a little bit, even just the cutscenes, or
do yourself a favor.
Text. It's so super cool, and it's just nice to see a cool story in a handheld game, because when you're thinking about like, I don't know, Road to WrestleMania, you're also getting just Vince as a little PNG bouncing, talking on the microphone, saying tomorrow's the Royal Rumble, and that's it. We've come a long way here.
It's such a great reference.
I think of No Mercy, like the stuff that was
you're
said.
Absolutely right. It's just a very funny image to have in your head.
But the stuff that was said most of the time was never actually said by the wrestlers. It was just written. No one wrote the stuff as a wrestler.
No one's there. There's a big difference, and I believe you actually explained this to me, or maybe I heard Brian or Matt talk about it another time. There's a big difference between writing in wrestling for a story and like how you want the story to progress, and then writing in wrestling for what a wrestler will say.
Yeah.
Like how you word things for telling a story and how you word things for the promo are two completely different styles of writing.
Yeah, and think of No Mercy. It's probably the worst writing in any story mode, but we loved it.
Man, that's rough.
And everyone just talked like this the whole time, saying, "Hey, gabagool."
With
their hands. Hey,
everything about the writing in that game is just.
Hey, you trying to mess with Bubba Ray? All right, let's talk about the crew here, the roster, as you will. Want to go one for one here? There's
all right,
68 names.
You want? I would say we split it by crew. Do you want to do like every other crew?
Yeah, every other crew.
Okay, so you kick us off here.
All right, so you got Blaze's crew representing Staten Island. Now, if you don't choose the leader here, Blaze is the OG. You got Bo, Comp, Doc, Eric Sermon, Flava Flav, Ghostface Killer, who's the lieutenant, Trick, and you're in the barge, the bunker, the dead end, and the terminal offload. That's your hood.
All right, and then for Ludacris and his crew, that's representing Brooklyn. You've got Bone Crusher, Bubba Sparks, David Banner, Fam Lay, Lil Flip, Ludacris, Mecca, OE, Scarface, and your territories are the Babylon, Club 357, The Pit, and Red Hook Tire Company.
Now, Crow's crew, you got Crow, Crack, Cruz, Ice-T, Mac 10, 9, Warren G, Dub C, Exhibit, and your hoods are 125th Street Station, Club Murder, Red Room, and 7th Heaven.
I'm proud that you remembered Dub C. Capone's crew representing Queens. You've got Capone, Dan G, Freeway, Joe Budden, Memphis Bleak, NORE, Rome, Sticky Fingers, and your areas are the Chop Shop, the Heights, the Limit, Sin Energy, and Sin Energy Power Plant.
Now, Crack/Crow's crew, you got Crow, Crack, Crazy Legs, Elephant Man, Shauna Paul, Skull, Slick Rick, Solo, Danny Trejo, and your territories are the Foundation, Gauntlet, Gun Hill Garage, and the Terror Dome.
And finally, you've got Dragon House, which is D-Mob, Baby Chris, Bless, Chang, Havoc, Henry Rollins, Magic, Manny, Masa, Tech, Prodigy, and Santos.
Gotta love Henry Rollins on this roster.
Oh, God. So great. So great. But with that, John, let us talk about the beautiful cover art for this game.
It's pretty much identical to Fight for New York.
Yeah. No notes. Looks great. Beautiful. Love it.
Yeah.
It's great.
New York, literally in the palm of your hand. If the Even Stevens were here, they would say, we got you right here in the palm of our hand. Now, the back cover says the fight begins. 5 brutal fighting styles. All new story, moves, venues, and head-to-head wireless fights. We didn't even mention the wireless fights. Oh, yeah. PSP to PSP, baby. Have no mercy, throw sand, use weapons, win by any means necessary, and trust no one, not even the crowd. I always loved that. The crowd was your ring ropes. They would throw you right back into the middle.
And at certain points, they'll even hit you with weapons.
Oh, yeah. Glass or whatever.
Yeah. They definitely can change the course of a match for sure.
Didn't expect such like a drastic change from the first game. Like, it's similar, but it's still like very different from Vendetta.
You know what it is? I don't know if it's if there was like an extra little bit of polish, or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's because they took stuff out to make it fit that maybe it feels different from that. But I'm with you on that. It feels different. It's okay. It's unique enough to feel like it's its own game, but similar enough that it still feels like it's a part of the series, which works because if you owned or had played the original, this still feels like you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is something that we always talk about and how important that is to, when you're investing your money, you don't, no matter how much you like a franchise or how much you like a game, it's nice to have something that's labeled or touted to be, either a continuation of a series or a remake, to have something that makes it worth you putting in the time and money for it.
Agreed. Yeah. As long as like we were talking about Call of Duty before, I don't feel like I justify even $50.
No, I think I'm
70 now. Yeah, like I'm out. I know this one goes back to like Verdansk and all that for campaign only, but I'm out.
Yeah,
like this game would have been worth my money here. Fight for New York, the Takeover, just like Fight Forever was. Fight Forever. Oh my God, wrong.
I know.
Wrong.
Everyone knows what you're saying.
Yeah. Same game, really, if you think about it. We touched a lot on what this game looks like already, but let's go through the fight style again because really the menu, everything looks almost identical. But let's run through like the story mode right now because you get really nice, almost illustrated shots that are like where the narrator would be. Like it's kind of you talking like, oh, you're going to be better than blah, blah, blah. You're going to take over the 5 boroughs. And it's just nice like scenery shots of New York City. But then when you're talking, it's like little pieces of paper and the picture's coming up and you just kind of scroll through it, read it at your own pace, press A, blah, blah, blah. And then the sidekick is pretty cool.
It is the thing.
It's like the WWE games where you get the messages. You still get it. You still get messages.
Yeah, you still get it. I almost think that this is the part that dates the game the most is the phone.
Yeah. Did you have a sidekick?
No, I never had one.
Me neither. But my friend had one, and in every like 4th period, I was able to go on it and log into AIM and talk to people because it had AIM.
The priorities that we had.
Listen, you got to talk to the girlfriends, you know?
I say, who's home from school today that I can chit chat with? Are you really sick or are you just faking?
And we had one friend who had a regular phone and a sidekick. That was just psychotic.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did his parents do?
I don't know, but psychotic. Yeah.
That's so much technology.
Eventually it turned into a BlackBerry and a sidekick, which was even more mind-blowing until the sidekick just completely went away.
I have questions.
So do I, and I know this person. Anyway.
Damn. A lot of digressions here
A lot of digressions, but I like it. We're just feeling it today. We're just feeling it. Getting limber, getting loose. The creator wrestler, I like the like clothes and outfits you could put in them because you could use like Fat Farm, some Jordan stuff.
You get real brands.
Very much like another one of my favorite series, NBA Ballers. Like you get full on like real clothes to wear.
Well, that's what UFC games did that for. I don't know if they still do. I haven't played a UFC game, like the newer ones, but I know that for a long time you could do all the sponsor logos. Like you can have like the Venom logo on your stuff, and you could pick to have like this specific Venom glove.
Well, they don't do that anymore on actual UFC, so you just get Venom. That's it. That's all you get.
That's true. Yeah, you just. What was the other one that everyone always had? It was Muscle Farm?
Muscle
MP?
Farm, yeah, the green logo. Good supplements. I used to use them all the time.
The things that stick with you.
Things that stick with you. But did you know? Did you know this game and Def Jam Rap Star are the only games in the franchise that were not released in Japan?
Did you know The Suspect is the only fighter from Def Jam Fight for New York's vast roster to not reappear in The Takeover?
What did he do? Did you know Def Jam Fight for New York, The Takeover, is on eBay from $25 case only, $75 UMD only, and $115 complete and $315 new.
That
if you have this and you need to fill up your gas tank.
I would say that seems expensive, but at the same time, when you think of the legacy, the lineage, the following behind this game, like it kind of checks out, and you're just like, how many people, listen, we always talk about when we were first doing the podcast, or anytime we have guests on the podcast, or we talk about the podcast, the games that always come up are No Mercy and Revenge, and Here Comes the Pain, and SmackDown 1 and 2. This game also comes up. Def Jam Fight for New York always comes up. Maybe not necessarily the PSP version, but people always bring up Def Jam. Like, this game has just as much of a cult following as No Mercy, and because it's a part of the same lineage. It's the continuation of that lineage. So I feel like that could be a part of why the price is so expensive, is because it's still is a part of that legacy of the AKI THQ series.
Possibly. I'm trying to look at the. It's very hard to find like units sold for a PSP game. But it was MSRP $39.99 when it came out. So
damn.
Yeah, which is also still kind of a lot for a little disc, but I get it. I get it.
It is. I would say it is, but it checks out when you think about it.
Now it's time. Everybody's favorite time. It is time for some R&R. Sit back and relax. Some ratings and reviews
with some non-copywritten music.
All right, so we're going to start with Metacritic with a 79 out of 100. EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly, with a 5.67 out of 10. Eurogamer, 7 out of 10. Game Informer with an 8 out of 10. GameSpot with an 8 out of 10. GameSpy with a 4 out of 5 stars. Game Trailers, 8.1 out of 10. Game Zone, 8.5 out of 10. IGN, 8.1 out of 10. PlayStation Magazine, 8 out of 10. And XPlay, 4 out of 5 stars. Across the board, one of the best games in general we've ever gotten a review for.
Do you not understand why?
I don't understand what EGM was doing with a 5.6.
There's always got to be one.
There's always got to be one, right?
But you've played the series. You didn't get to play in the today's playthrough, but you're familiar with this series. It checks out. It makes sense. Like there's maybe not as many bells and whistles in this one as there were for the full console releases, but for it being a handheld wrestling game, I got no complaints.
No, none at all. I'm actually looking at the console release here, and also 84 out of 100, 83 out of 100, 84, 8.6, 8.7, 9 out of 10 across the board. So, man, you never see a handheld version of a game get this high.
And we've done a bunch.
Yeah, this is crazy. So, got to be one of the best ever. But with all of those ratings, it's time for the most important rating of them all, which is ours. Because it's time to rate the game.
Would you look at the time?
The game!
I almost want to say we should 3, 2, 1 it.
100%. I'm confident.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Play it forever. We even said it the same way.
Woo!
We've been 4 years. We've been doing this way too long.
4 years.
I can't say anything bad about this. I could look past those little shitty graphic errors of pixelation because it's just such a good game.
Well, also remember that we did this playthrough, peek behind the curtain. I'm sure a lot of people understand this and know this by now. We play most of these games on emulators, so yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of a graphical difference between things getting re-rendered and stuff like that. But when we do play these on emulators, give me one more gasp. Thank you. I do mess with the settings to try to keep the graphics as faithful and original as possible. So with that in mind, yeah, you also have to remember we're playing this on a computer monitor. If you were to load this up look at it this way, it looks better than Rockpocalypse.
Anything looks better than Rockpocalypse. I don't want to talk about that game ever again. But all right, hey, good game, good rating. So far, every Def Jam game we have played has gotten Play It Forever. We will see if Def Jam Icon is the same. We will not be playing Rapstar. I
don't know. Icon is what? 360?
Let's see. Def Jam Icon. I have never played Icon. Yes, 360 and PS3.
Oh, okay, and PS3. That's promising. That's promising. I was nervous when I thought it was just.
Yeah,
so I thought it
should be good.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm always looking forward to a new, another Def Jam game, especially once we start getting out of the the ones I played. Did not play Icon. Did not play Rapstar.
We're
Very
not
excited.
playing Rapstar here.
We'll figure it
is
out.
not
Maybe it'll be
wrestling
a special bonus episode, Patreon exclusive, with a special tier tied to it, so that you really have to pay to watch me and John sing. All right, but with that, John, are you ready to dive into this week's soft lock?
My favorite part of the week.
All right, the soft lock is a weekly segment where one of our mega marks asks us a question, a topic to debate. You can call it whatever you want. It used to be the question of the week. We gave it a new name. This week, question comes from Will McDonough. And Will's question is in the
McDonough.
vein of the 7-Up Cool Spot game, which is such a great game, and the numerous Chester Cheeto games, and the Dorito and Burger King games on the 360, what snack food / fast food property deserves a video game in 2023? And then he said bonus points if you describe it. So
I've never actually seen the Doritos game. I'm looking at it now. It's pretty.
I know Pepsi Man,
Looks pretty stupid.
and I know Cool Spot, because Cool Spot was
yeah.
a banger of a Sega Genesis game. Let's see. Without Googling, let's try to think.
I want the Wendy's logo.
I was just gonna say Wendy's could do a game,
or like the Taco Bell dog.
or you give me a
Little
Colonel
Chihuahua?
Sanders game.
Ooh, yeah.
Give me a Dave Thomas from Wendy's game. Give me Burger Time with Dave Thomas from Wendy's.
I picture it in 8-bit.
That's what I want. Give me Burger Time with Dave Thomas, or oh no, John, I got it. Did you ever play California games?
No.
You never played California games on the Sega? Okay, so
Let me
California games was like a bunch of like
I've seen this. I've never played it, but I've seen
themed
it.
games. So there was a rollerblading one, and I can't remember if it was in California Games 1 or 2, but there was like an inline skate one where you have to like make it through this obstacle course,
Mm-hmm.
and I want that in a Sonic game,
What do you mean?
like Sonic fast food chain,
Oh.
and I want it to be where you have to deliver food to someone's car on rollerblades through an obstacle course.
Now Sonic doesn't have a logo. I would say Sonic with the Sonic.
Oh well, you could do Sonic with Sonic,
There's no,
but
like,
I'm just thinking
mascot.
like you do Sonic, where like the mascots are like the employees on the rollerblades.
Do you remember? This is what I want. Do you remember the Dunkin' Donuts man with the mustache?
Oh, the time to make the donuts guy?
donuts. My dad was him
Yeah.
for Halloween like 3 years in a row. Give me like Diner Dash with that guy.
Oh,
Or,
okay.
Or a Paperboy type game where he's just throwing donuts at people's doorsteps.
What about Paperboy, but it's an Uber game, like an Uber Eats game?
You could do like Simpsons Hit and Run with that.
Yeah, it's like Uber Eats.
Pick your character.
I like that. It's an all original roster of
Head to
Uber Eats
this-
people.
Yeah, head to McDonald's and then deliver your food. That could be something. I don't want to give Uber any more money though.
No, they don't need it, but it's an interesting idea for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. Cool.
See, we can make game. We come up with a concept on our own.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I think I'm always on board for a nice food type game. Do I have any? Like, let's see.
John and I are available if your video game company needs pitch people. We've got ideas.
No, I got nothing. Game.
You don't have any food games?
Nah. Anyway.
All right. Well, with that, let us know what if there were any food IPs that we forgot that maybe need to be included, and let us know what the theme of their game would be, and if bonus points, give us a name of the game if you can get that creative. But with that, John, would you like to know what we're doing next week?
I would. We already shared it last week, but
Let's refresh for
Let's
the people
refresh.
at home. You know what? I'm going to ask you, what time is it, John?
what do you mean? we're running out of time because next week we are playing.
It's literally his catchphrase.
Oh, you know, it's late. You know, you can't set me up like. Would you look at the time? Like,
I just said,
it's
what time
showtime.
is it?
Okay,
thank you. That's all you had to do.
John, what time is it? Like, I don't know what the hell you're asking me. Usually we do that
Usually
for
when
time
I say
to
that,
rate
you
the
just
game.
usually when I do that, you just tell me the actual time.
I stared at him like, I don't know. Time to rate the game? We did that already. Anyway, it's the video game history of Sting. Happy?
Yes, that's all I wanted.
Nervous?
Oh yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Joker Sting coming back?
Yeah.
Immediately after Dynamite went off the air, Impact posted the complete history of Joker Sting on YouTube.
What are your thoughts? Were you a big? I know that there are parts of Joker Sting that you didn't love.
No, it was great. Love Joker Sting, and I think it's gonna. I don't know. Hopefully, it's a nice casket.
You think we're gonna get a new Joker Sting figure?
As long as they stop with these repaints, because I'm running out of money and space. Anyway, we'll talk about all of this next week.
This is true. All right. Well, youtube.com/GameMarksPodcast for our weekly playthrough videos, exclusive content, and a whole lot more. GameMarksPod.com/shop for all of our exclusive merchandise. ProWrestlingTees.com/GameMarksPod for our shirts. John, you made a shirt that was themed around Fight Forever, and I think you should post it because it was great. I
did, didn't I? We're going to post that.
You should post it. It was great. So that's going to go up. So be on the lookout for that. Patreon.com/GameMarksPod for this show. Early and ad-free access to our Discord and your chance to submit questions for the soft lock every single episode at GameMarksPod on all forms of social media. And please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. It really does help out the podcast. And if you want to help out the podcast even more, you can leave us a review and a 5-star rating on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And finally, if you have a product or service that you would like to advertise on this podcast, please reach out to us at GameMarksPod@gmail.com. That is all for this episode. Johnny Clash, whenever you're ready, sir.
Game over. Marks.
Game Marks Podcast, put them on the radar. Playing rare games, Sega Saturn, no Game Shark. Johnny and George work hard and they play hard. Future endeavor games and put them in the graveyard. From the deep dive to the clash at the feast. How can I get more? That's question of the week. Follow on Twitch, there's nothing that they won't play. Game Marks Podcast every single Monday.